We need to be done with single platform candidates. I woke up this morning to a video of a veteran, and it was a clip, so I didn't see what channel it was on, but basically he's a veteran. He must work for some veteran group, association, something or other, and he's talking about all the cuts that have been made in the past 30 days and how veterans are big mad. And so, they've been getting together, and we should expect marches starting about next week, and we should expect a very public showing for veterans. They're not going to take it anymore, but also they have been speaking to their members, and over 200 veterans will be running for offices, on the local, state, and federal level. Veterans aren't going to take this anymore. And, people should vote for these veteran candidates because, we got to fix this. I'm sorry. So I currently have politicians running my life on a single party issue, only that party issue is, furthering the 1%. And you want me to kick them out of office so veterans can get into office to focus on a single topic of value to them, which is veterans, furthering the interests of one particular group because that one particular group wants something and it's very important to them. Do you see the problem there? I mean, you don't like that 1%ers are getting exactly what they want, but you'd like veterans to get in so they can get exactly what they want. And the rest of us are supposed to vote for this? Now look, we need to have an honest conversation. It's not just the Trump administration. Trump is just saying out loud, what most, 1%ers kind of feel about the military. I mean, Trump calls you suckers and losers. He's not kidding. He really does kind of believe that the Midwest is just this place that produces, bodies to go to war. I mean, you have two choices, stay on the farm or join the military. And he's said this. It's been backed up, recently Trump's been treating veterans poorly. Do you not remember his last administration? Because if you're going to talk about veterans being treated poorly, you have to factor in the last time Trump was president, when he couldn't understand how you were dumb enough not to get out of service, when he didn't want to put a wreath on the unknown soldier's grave, because, if you're too stupid to figure out how to not die in war, why the hell should I give you a wreath? You died, loser. Multiple times he has been caught not wanting to be near disfigured veterans. If you don't have all your parts, he doesn't want to be anywhere near you. You're not pretty enough to be on camera with him. Sure, an IUD took out your legs, but yeah, Trump only likes people with legs. But the truth is, Trump's not the first president to not really love the military. Sure, they salute and they wave, but let's look at Bush. In the military. In the cushiest job in the military that you could possibly get without not just being in the military at all. Does he strike you as somebody who truly understands war? Because we're still in the war he started. Those weapons of mass destruction that never existed, that we went to war for and are still in war, and millions of people are dying. Trillions of dollars have been spent on this war because Halliburton needed to make money and big oil wanted to drill. If we're being truly honest, the US military serves big weapons, big oil, and the US interest of strategically putting us everywhere to intimidate the shit out of the rest of the world. And if our servicemen so happen to go out and breed into the local population, that's only to our advantage. But overlooking how past presidents have treated the military, you want to run candidates in every position possible, possibly even up to president, to further the interest of veterans. What about active military? Are you going to work to make their lives better? Because that means standing up to big oil and big weapons. Are you going to hand in all your pew-pews as a sign that you don't support big weapons? You disagree with how Republicans are treating veterans, but just how they're treating veterans. How do you feel about everything else they're doing? Screwing over all the other demographics. Minorities, women, disabled, elderly. What are you going to do for them? The ones that can't serve in the military, at certain times weren't allowed to serve in the military unless there was a war and you happened to need some women on hand. And screw them because they didn't serve? That's a very specialized interest right up there with the 1%. Be very careful if you're going to run candidates to not run on a single issue the way the 1%ers do. You're going to get into government. You're going to make life better for veterans. What about seniors? What about the disabled? Because they're not your brothers and sisters in arms. What are you going to do for them? Everything else that the Republicans have been doing recently, all the racist, sexist, misogynistic, homophobic, transphobic, just everything terrible that the Republicans have done in the past month alone. You don't disagree with any of that, just that veterans have been treated poorly. Do you see the problem there? You're going to get in and you're going to fix the VA and you're going to triple fund the VA, and veterans are going to have all their benefits and they're going to get all their checks and they're going to get all their perks. What about the disabled community? Where is all the money for veterans coming from exactly? And just veterans? Because, veterans are people who are out of the military. If the military doesn't continue to produce veterans, you're a small, dwindling group of numbers that literally die off every day. Okay, so veterans and military. Cool, are you going to acknowledge all the problems in the military and work to fix them? Like how women and minorities are treated in the military? Are you going to put back all those photos and videos that Trump has taken down, if, like airplanes that happen to have the word gay in them? Or are you just going to leave all the changes in because you're not really offended by them, you're just pissed that veterans are losing their benefits? Because also, if you're going to have to keep growing the military to make sure that you have a steady stream of veterans to back up your party's voting numbers, are you going to fix education? Because if you're too dumb to get into the military, you can't serve in the military to become a veteran eventually. So when you get in running on your veteran platform, are you going to work on education? You get into politics and the 1% come to bribe you. We'll give you top-of-the-line healthcare for you and your family. Hell, even you and everybody you served in the military with, everybody who is in your unit or stationed where you were, we'll give you guys top-of-the-line care, as long as you just shut your mouth about the rest. Are you going to be able to withstand it? Because every other political candidate we've sent to office, Bernie Sanders? Maybe 5 or 6 other candidates total in office right now don't take shady money? Have you truly thought about what happens when a billionaire comes to you and says, you can live at the Mayo Clinic for the rest of your life, everything you've ever wanted, plus unlimited Grubhub, and your kids will go to Harvard. All you have to do is sell out all the other military people and veterans, the ones you don't know. Are you sure you can withstand that? But most of all, you find nothing wrong with the current administration except how they're treating veterans. Tell me how that makes you different than the 1%, because you just want your group to be safe and healthy and get what they need, which is essentially what the 1% is doing right now. They want the 1% to be safe and healthy and thrive. We don't need candidates that are interested in a single topic or a single group. We need candidates that believe equity and equality, put everybody at the same starting line, and then go from there, because we all deserve access to decent education, decently safe food and water. Water should be a human right, food should be a basic human right, and healthcare for all. Because if that's not our baseline for all, what are we doing? And how are we going to in any way expect this to make us better than what we've got now? You're just pissed that you're not in the group that's currently benefiting. But if you became the group that was benefiting, would you give a shit about anybody else? We need candidates who aren't going to lie to us. You can't fucking lower property taxes. In this current climate, you can't lower any taxes. As a matter of fact, with the federal government cutting off most of our funding, we need more taxes than less. But we're going to vote for the candidate that says lower taxes. Or veterans are going to vote for the candidate that says veterans should get what they want. It moves us no further forward. And this is no disrespect to veterans, whatsoever. But we need to be honest about how they are viewed as meat by the 1% and treated like shit by society, except for a couple times a year when we fly a flag. But ultimately, what we really need are candidates that care as much about veterans as the elderly, as the disabled, as minorities, as women. As we keep on picking these one-topic candidates, until we pick candidates that, represent the 99% total, we are no better than the 1%. They just have more resources than we do. We need candidates for us who will not participate in their bullshit. The problem is almost every candidate takes their money and forgets their ideals.